press start.
And that was chapter 9. Now we're moving on to chapter 10. Here we go. As I hung up the phone, the door to the kitchen swung open and Frankie stuck his head in. We really have to go now, Zip. Do you need help with your costume? Actually, I do. I can't tie on my anti-zombie gear, but I could use some help with the tinfoil as well. Okay, Frankie said, raising his eyebrows. I'm your tinfoil man. I took out the terry cloth robe belt that had all the stuff hanging on it and tied it around my waist. Then I went to the second drawer under the sink where my mom keeps the sandwich bags and stuff like that. I pulled out the roll of tinfoil and handed it to Frankie. Wrap me up, I said. You pull the tinfoil off the roll and I'll turn. Don't stop until I'm completely wrapped up like a hot dog at a Mets game. My idea was that if no zombie could pick up my body heat, they would pass me right by. I wasn't sure if it would work, but it was worth a try. Anything to get safely to Papa Pete's. Frankie and I worked quickly. In a few minutes, I was wrapped in tinfoil from head to toe, except for my nose, my mouth, and my eyes. Actually, you look pretty cool, Frankie said, standing back to admire his work. Let's go ring some doorbells. Okay, I said, but we have to hurry so we can get to Papa Pete's soon. What's the rush, Frankie said. Afraid they'll run out of candy in this building? You never know, I answered. I hurried to the living room. You could hear the tinfoil crinkle as I took each step. Emily let out a huge laugh when she saw me. What are you supposed to be? A tuna sandwich in a lunch bag? Can we just go? I snapped. Okay, I've decided to go with you, Emily said. Even my broken dragon costume doesn't look as bad as yours. I'll come with you, kids, my dad said. Mom will stay here to hand out candy. Oh, I don't believe in unhealthy snacks, my mom said. I'm handing out little boxes of raisins. Yuck. Normally, I would have told my mom that raisins are for putting in cereal and not in Halloween treats, but I was in a rush to get going, so I just said, Great idea, Mom! And please check to make sure everyone you open the door for is actually alive. We left the apartment and went across the hall. The first doorbell we rang was apartment 10B, where Dr. James Watson and his family lived. The Watsons had just moved in a couple of weeks before, so we didn't know him very well. Trick or treat, Emily growled, trying to sound like whatever a Komodo dragon would sound like if it spoke English. Trick or treat, Frankie and Ashley chimed in. Oh my, Dr. Watson said as he opened the door. What do we have here? A zombie, a sparkly giraffe, a roll of tinfoil, and a dragon with a missing tail. Emily looked down on the floor and saw her tail had completely fallen off once again. She burst into tears, picked up her tail, and stomped back towards our apartment. I'll go with her and do an emergency repair, Dad said. You kids stay on this floor until I'm back. Dr. Watson held out a bowl of candy. It was filled with whole candy bars, not the fun-size ones. Ashley and Frankie started to sort through all the different candy bars to pick out their favorites. Hurry up, guys, I whispered. We have to move faster than this. A little boy in a Superman cape and red rain boots came running to the door. Look, Daddy, he said, pointing at me. He looks like a sandwich in my lunchbox. Why, yes, he does, Luke. Dr. Watson agreed. Have you kids met my son, Luke? I'm not Luke, I'm Super Luke, he said. Well, Super Luke, I said to him, just so you know, I am not something you eat. I am a zombie-detecting robot. Luke's eyes got wide. Zombies, Luke screamed. I don't like zombies, and he ran as fast as he could back into his apartment. I'd better go now, Dr. Watson said, closing the door on us. Thanks for coming by, kids. Boy, did I know how little Super Luke felt. I didn't like zombies either. All of a sudden, I heard the elevator ding as it arrived on our floor. I stepped out in front of Frankie and Ashley. Hide behind me, I whispered. It might be them. Whew, Ashley said. Shh, say nothing. The elevator door creaked as it slid open. I held my breath and waited to see who was coming out. Please don't be a zombie, I thought to myself. It wasn't a zombie. At least, it wasn't one we could see. No one was in the elevator. Then why did it come to our floor? Was it them sending us a message? Was it Meatbag, the baby zombie, coming to find me? The elevator door slid shut. That was creepy, I whispered. Zip, it was just an empty elevator, Frankie said. I bet that Robert Upchurch from the 4th floor pushed every button. He's the kind of kid who would think that's funny. Ashley had already rung the doorbell of apartment 10C, where Mrs. Fink, a very nice older lady, lived. The door flew open, and out of it burst a green face and a deep hole where the mouth should be. There were no lips, no teeth, just loose skin the color of green slime. "Hello, kids," the face cackled. It almost sounded like Mrs. Fink, but I knew it wasn't. She had been turned into a zombie. McKelty was right. They had gone for the old people first. "Run!" I screamed. "Run?" Frankie said. "But she's got Tootsie Rolls." I grabbed Frankie by the arm and yanked him toward the door of my apartment. "You too, Ashley," I screamed, "before that horrible green zombie eats your brain." I was already banging on the door of our apartment, wildly turning the knob, trying to get it open. "Help, Mom," I yelled. "Open the door!" But it was too late. The slimy green hand touched my shoulder, and the creature pulled me toward her. And then that scary, awful zombie let out a wicked laugh. That was the end of chapter 10. Do you think Hank's going to be okay with his friends? We're going to go right on to chapter 11 and find out. The door to our apartment opened just in time. I had never been so glad to see my mom's face. I broke free from the zombie and zoomed inside like I had a jetpack on my back. "Frankie, Ashley, get in here," I yelled. "And Mom, slam the door, quick!" But Mom wasn't fast enough. The green-faced zombie followed us into the living room. That was it. I had no choice. It was time for me to be brave. "Stop right there," I said, stepping in front of my family and friends and spreading my tinfoil arms around them. "I am a zombie fighter. Take one step further and I'll have to use my powers to melt you into a green puddle." "Hank," my mom said, "that's no way to talk to Mrs. Fink." "But Mom, can't you see? That's not really Mrs. Fink anymore. She's been taken over by zombies. Just look at her." "Oh," Mrs. Fink said, reaching out to touch my arm. "I think I understand the problem." "Don't get near me," I warned her. "You can't eat my brain. It's off limits." "I'm not a zombie, honey," she said. "I promise." "Then why is your face green?" "I was just having some Halloween fun, so I covered my face with avocado face cream." "Oh, really? Then where did your teeth go?" I said. "They're in a glass on the sink. Maybe you didn't know, but I wear fake teeth. I'm so sorry that I scared you." "Mrs. Fink," my mother said, "I am so embarrassed about the way Hank spoke to you. If you'll excuse us, we'd like to have a word with him." Mrs. Fink winked at me, and then she left, and a big glob of green slime slid off her face onto her shoes. "Don't forget to come back for a Tootsie Roll," she said to the three of us as she left the apartment. My mom looked at me right in the eyes. "What is this all about, Hank?" she asked. "I think I know, Miss Zipster," Ashley said. "Ever since last night's movie, Hank has been worried about a zombie invasion." "We thought he was just kidding," Frankie said, "but now I see he wasn't." "Well, this is silly, Hank," my mom said. "There's no such thing as zombies. They're made up." "Oh yeah," I said. "Then how come it says in the encyclopedia at the library that zombies do exist? I read it right on the page. It said, 'According to experts, there is evidence that zombies exist.'" My mom nodded her head. "I think I understand what's happening here," she said slowly. "Isn't it true, sweetie, that reading is very hard for you, and sometimes you add words to what's on the page, or sometimes you leave words out?" I guess that's true, Mom. So I suggest we all go to the computer and look up zombies again. We'll give it another try." Frankie, Ashley, and I followed my mom to the dining room table, where she sat down in front of her laptop. She typed in some words. In just a few seconds, the encyclopedia page about zombies popped up. It was the same page that was in the book I read. Frankie leaned toward the screen and read the first sentence out loud. "The word zombie was first used in 1819 in Brazil," he read. "Oh, that's what that word was," I said. "Brazil. Well, that makes much more sense than Bad Bill." Frankie continued reading. "According to the experts, there is no evidence that zombies exist." "Wait a minute," I said. "Where did you see the word no?" "It's right there, Zip," he said, pointing to the word on the screen. "Do you think it was there the whole time?" I asked. "Yes, I do." There was a long silence as I thought this through. "So I've been scared of a zombie invasion this whole time because I skipped over a tiny little 2-letter word?" Frankie and Ashley and my mom all nodded. For some reason, I felt like I was going to cry. Why couldn't I read like Frankie and Ashley? At that moment, I really didn't like my brain. Why didn't it work like everyone else's? Ashley put one of her giraffe hooves on my shoulder. "You'll catch on to this reading thing, Hank," she said. "In the meantime, Frankie and I are here to help you." "Does that mean we can go trick-or-treating now?" Frankie said. "'Cause there's a whole lot of candy out there with my name on it." For the first time in 24 hours, I was able to smile. I was safe. My parents and Emily were safe. And best of all, Papa Pete was safe. "Let's do it," I said. My dad came out of Emily's room. "Ladies and gentlemen, giraffes and zombies, may I have your attention," he said in his circus announcer voice. "Introducing the world's only Komodo dragon with an upside-down tail. Emily, if you please." My sister came out of her bedroom looking very happy with herself. Her tail had been stapled back on, and this time the tip of it was pointing right up to the ceiling. A string tied it to the top of her dragon head. "The string was my idea," she said proudly. "The tail will stay on for weeks. I might even wear this to school Monday." "Nothing weird about that," I said. "Remind me not to walk with you to school on Monday." "So," my dad said, getting ready to go to the front door, "are we all ready for some trick-or-treating?" We all cheered and headed across the living room. Then we heard it, a frightened scream coming from down the hall. "Don't eat my head," the voice wailed. "Please, Mrs. Zombie, I'll do anything you want." That voice was very familiar. "Hey, wait, isn't that?" Ashley said. "I think it is," Frankie nodded. I pulled open the door. Kneeling in our hallway was a kid dressed as a hockey player, holding up his stick to protect himself from green-faced Mrs. Spink, the zombie. He had a big face and a thick neck and a huge wad of red licorice stuck between his teeth. That's right, it was the tough guy, Nick McKelty, shaking and whining like a 2-year-old. I burst out laughing. Hey, somebody should tell that guy there's no such thing as zombies. Chapter 12. A couple of things I learned from this Halloween. Brazil is a country. Number 2, Tootsie Rolls are hard to get out of your teeth. Number 3, zombies do not really exist. And number 4, oops, I was always supposed to write 3. Sorry. And that, boys and girls, is the end of Here's Hank, There's a Zombie in My Bathtub. Thank you for listening to me read it. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I'm going to read you another chapter book next. In the meantime, make sure you are washing your hands, make sure you're helping out around the house, and make sure you're checking out all the other great videos that your teachers are posting. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.
So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh.